Elior never celebrated his birthday. On the outer edge of the galaxy, birthdays meant nothing to humans like him. He worked as a maintenance officer on Virex Station, a massive alien hub where humans were useful, quiet, and invisible. He fixed doors, cleaned power lines, and kept his head low. That was how humans survived here. On this day, Elior only wanted to finish his shift and return to his small metal room. But fate had other plans. As Elior walked through the central hall, alarms rang softly. Guards lined the walls. Noble aliens filled the air with strange perfumes and sharp laughter. A royal gathering was happening. Elior slowed his steps. Royal events never meant anything good for humans. Before he could turn away, a tall alien guard blocked his path. The guard's voice echoed, cold and metallic. "Human, you are summoned." Elior's heart sank. He was escorted into the Crimson Hall, a place humans were never invited. The ceiling glowed red like blood behind glass. Floating lights moved slowly, like watching eyes. Hundreds of alien nobles turned toward him. Their staves burned. At the center stood the High Council, seated on black thrones carved with ancient symbols. Between them lay a wide empty space, and two massive objects covered in dark cloth. Elior stood alone. The High Speaker rose. His voice filled the hall. "Today," the alien announced, "we observe a human tradition." Murmurs spread. Some aliens laughed. "A birthday!" The word felt strange in Elior's ears. The High Speaker looked down at him. "State your name." "Elior," he said quietly. "Age?" 26. More laughter. "A weak age," someone whispered. The High Speaker lifted a clawed hand. Silence returned. "By ancient custom," he said, "a gift must be given." Elior's hands trembled. Humans were never given gifts here. Two guards stepped forward and pulled the dark cloth away. The hole froze. Two black crystal coffins stood upright. Their surfaces were smooth and alive, like they were breathing. Red symbols glowed faintly on their sides. A chill ran down Elior's spine. "What is this?" he whispered. The High Speaker smiled. "It was not kind. Your gift." The coffin shook. A soft thump came from inside one of them. Elior's breath caught. "These," the High Speaker continued, "are alien vampire princesses." Gasps echoed through the hall. Some nobles leaned back in fear. Others watched with cruel excitement. "Dangerous," someone said. "Cursed," said another. Elior felt his legs weaken. Vampires were real. Ancient. Feared. They fed on life itself. And now, the High Speaker said, "They are yours." The words hit Elior like a blow. I don't understand," Elior said. "I didn't ask for." The High Speaker interrupted. "You did not need to." Laughter returned, louder this time. "Why give them to me?" Elior asked, his voice shaking. The High Speaker leaned forward. "Because humans are disposable," he said calmly. "And these two are unwanted." The coffin shook harder. A faint female voice came from inside one of them. "Please." The sound pierced Elior's chest. The nobles went silent. Elior stepped forward without thinking. "Stop," he said. "They're alive." A guard moved, but the High Speaker raised his hand again. "Curious," the High Speaker said. "You show concern." Elior swallowed. "They are not objects," he said. "They are people." A ripple of anger passed through the hall. "You dare speak of people?" An alien noble snapped. The High Speaker's eyes narrowed. "Human, these creatures are bound. They obey their owner." Elior looked at the coffins. The shaking slowed, as if the beings inside were listening. "I don't want to own anyone," Elior said softly. Mocking laughter exploded. "How noble," someone said. "How stupid," said another. The High Speaker stood tall. "The seals will open at midnight," he declared. "You will take them, or you will be punished." Elior felt fear claw at his chest, but something stronger rose with it. Resolve. He nodded once. "I will take them," he said. The laughter stopped, not because they were impressed, because they were confused. The guards pushed the coffins toward him. They were cold, heavy, and alive beneath his hands. As Elior touched the crystal, the symbols glowed brighter. Inside one coffin, a pair of red eyes opened. Through the crystal, a pale face appeared. Young, beautiful, terrified. Her lips moved. "Why, are you not afraid?" she whispered. Elior leaned closer. "I am," he answered honestly. "But I won't hurt you." The eyes widened. The second coffin trembled violently. Alarms began to hum. The high speaker stepped back. "Enough," he said. "Take your gift, human. And remember, if they escape, you die." Elior turned away, pulling the coffins with him. As the whole doors closed behind him, the whispers returned inside the crystal. One voice soft, one angry, both afraid. And deep inside the coffin, ancient vampire blood awakened, because for the first time in centuries, they were no longer owned by monsters. They were in the hands of a human. The transport corridor was silent. Only the soft hum of energy lights followed Elior as he pulled the two black crystal coffins behind him. Each step felt heavier than the last, not because of the weight, but because of what they carried inside. Lives. Elior did not know why he kept moving forward. Fear sat deep in his chest, cold and sharp. Vampire princesses were not stories. They were real, powerful, dangerous. Yet when he looked at the faint red glow inside the crystal, he felt something else. Pity. The door to his assigned storage bay slid open. It was small, cold, bare metal walls. This was where humans stayed when they were not needed. Elior guided the coffins inside and locked the door. For a long moment, he just stood there, breathing. "I don't know what to do," he said quietly. The coffin on the left trembled. A soft voice answered, weak but clear. "You are already doing more than anyone else ever did." Elior froze. "You can speak?" he asked. "Yes," the voice said. "We always could." No one listened. The crystal surface faded slowly, becoming more transparent. Inside, a young woman appeared. Her skin was pale like moonlight. Her hair was long and dark. Her eyes glowed red, but they were not cruel. They were tired. "My name is Naira," she said, "Princess of the Night Court." The second coffin shook harder. "And I am Viola," came a sharper voice, "Princess of the Blood Reach." Her eyes burned brighter. Anger lived there. Elior stepped back, raising his hands. "I won't hurt you," he said. "I swear." Naira studied him carefully. "You are afraid," she said. "Yes," Elior replied honestly. Viola laughed softly. "Good. Humans usually beg or scream." Elior swallowed. "I was told you are dangerous." Naira looked away. "They call us monsters," she said. "But they made us this way." The seals around the coffins unlocked with a quiet hiss. The crystal panels slid open. Both princesses stepped out. Naira moved slowly, like her body had forgotten freedom. Viola moved with sharp control, every step ready for attack. Elior backed toward the wall, giving them space. "I brought you here because I had no choice," he said. "But you can leave if you want." Viola stopped. "Leave?" she asked. "Where?" Naira smiled sadly. "We are exiles," she said. "The council gifted us because they wanted us gone." Elior clenched his fists. "They used you as punishment," he said. "Yes," Naira replied, "and as entertainment." Viola's voice dropped low. "They chained us, slept us, woke us only when they needed fear." Silence filled the room. Elior walked to the small heater unit and turned it on. "It's cold," he said simply. Both princesses stared at him. "You care about temperature?" Viola asked. "You're cold," Elior replied. "That matters." Naira's red eyes softened. No one had ever said that to them. Elior brought blankets, water packs, and nutrient bars. Simple human food. He placed them on the floor and stepped back again. "You don't have to eat," he said. "I just thought, maybe." Naira knelt and touched the blanket. Her hands trembled. "This is not control," she said slowly. "Why?" Elior shrugged. "Because you didn't choose this," he said. "Neither did I." Viola watched him closely, her senses sharp. "You smell different," she said suddenly. Elior stiffened. "Different how?" "Alive," she answered. "Unprotected." Naira turned sharply. "Viola." Viola took one step closer to Elior. You know what we are, Viola said. One bite, and you belong to us. Elior met her gaze. I know, he said. And you still stand there? Yes. Viola frowned. Naira whispered, Do not test him. Viola inhaled deeply. Her fangs showed slightly. Then she stepped back. I will not take what is not given, Viola said coldly. Elior released a breath he did not know he was holding. Naira looked at Viola in shock. You refuse, Naira said. Viola turned away. For now. Alarm suddenly echoed outside the bay. Security drones passed by the door. Naira stiffened. They are watching. They always watch, Viola said. They want us to fail. Elior moved to the door panel and locked it tighter. They won't touch you, he said. Not here. Naira looked at him with confusion and something close to hope. Why protect us? She asked softly. Elior thought for a moment. Because someone should have, he said. Outside the door, unseen by all three, ancient symbols began to glow on the princess's wrists. An old law had noticed a new choice, and somewhere deep in the vampire bloodline, something had awakened. The symbols on the princess's wrist did not fade. They burned softly, red like dying stars. Naira stared at them in silence. Viola clenched her fists. Both of them felt it, the pull of something old, something watching. This should not happen, Naira whispered. Elior looked from one princess to the other. What is it? Viola's voice was low. An ancient mark. It appears only when a vampire is chosen. Chosen? Elior asked. Naira nodded slowly. Not owned, not bound, chosen freely. Elior felt a chill. I didn't do anything. That is why it appeared, Naira said. Before Elior could respond, the lights flickered. Heavy footsteps echoed outside the bay. Metal scraped against metal. Security. Viola moved instantly, placing herself between Elior and the door. Her eyes burned brighter now. They are coming for him, she said. For me? Elior asked. For you, Naira answered. They will say you are controlling us. The door panel flashed red. Open, a mechanical voice ordered. Elior stepped forward. No, Viola snapped. Stay behind us. Elior hesitated, then shook his head. They already think I'm weak, he said. I won't hide. The door slid open. 3 armored guards stood there, weapons glowing. Behind them hovered a council drone, its eyes shining cold white. Human Elior, the drone said. You are under review. For what? Elior asked. For illegal influence over royal assets. Naira flinched at the word assets. They are not assets, Elior said calmly. The guards raised their weapons. Viola hissed, her fangs showing fully now. Say one more word. The guards paused. Fear crossed their faces. The drone floated closer. Step aside, human. The vampires will return to council custody. No, Elior said. The word was quiet, but it stopped everything. The drone tilted. You refuse? Yes. Naira looked at him in shock. Viola stared like she had never seen a human before. They will kill you, Naira whispered. Elior did not look away from the guards. Then they will, he said. But you are not going back. The corridor went silent. One guard's hand trembled. Viola laughed softly. Interesting. Suddenly, one guard fired. The shot was fast. Bright. Deadly. Viola moved faster. She toned, taking the blast across her shoulder. The energy burned her skin. She screamed, but she did not fall. Naira rushed to her side. Viola dropped to one knee, blood dark and glowing. Viola! Naira cried. Elior's mind went blank. He ran to her. Don't touch her! Naira warned. But Elior knelt anyway. Viola looked up at him, shocked. Are you insane? Probably, Elior said. He pressed his hands over the wound. Warm, glowing blood spilled between his fingers. She's dying, Naira said. Elior swallowed. What do I do? Naira hesitated. Her voice shook. Only blood can heal her, she said. Human blood. The guards froze. The drone's eye widened. Do not. Elior did not wait. He pulled a small blade from his belt and cut his palm. Red human blood flowed. Viola's eyes went wide. "No," she whispered. "Do not give freely." Elior pressed his bleeding hand to her lips. "Live," he said. "Please." Viola froze. Then she drank. Not like a monster, like someone starving. The symbols on her wrists exploded with light. A shockwave rolled through the bay, throwing guards back. The drone shattered against the wall. Viola gasped as her wound closed. Her strength returned in a rush. Naira felt it too. The bond. Ancient. Sacred. Viola pulled away, breathing hard. "You gave blood without command," she said in disbelief. Elior swayed. Naira caught him before he fell. "Why?" Viola asked, her voice shaking. Elior smiled weakly. "Because you're not a weapon," he said. "You're a person." Alarm screamed throughout the station. A deep, ancient signal echoed across space. Naira looked up, fear and awe in her eyes. "The law has awakened," she whispered. "Every vampire will feel this." Viola stood slowly. Her presence changed. Stronger, calmer, dangerous. "They wanted monsters," Viola said. "Now they will face consequences." She turned to Elior and knelt. Naira followed. "We are not owned," Naira said. "But by law, you are now our protector." Elior stared at them in shock. "I didn't want power," he said. Viola looked up, eyes burning. "Too late," she said. "You earned it." Far across the galaxy, ancient vampire elders opened their eyes. And for the first time in centuries, they feared a human. The station shook. Not from weapons. From fear. Across Vyrek Station, alarms changed tone. Not warning. Not evacuation. Something older. Something no one used anymore. Naira felt it first. She pressed her hand to her chest. "They felt it," she whispered. "Who?" Elior asked, still weak but awake. Viola stood tall beside him. Her presence filled the room now. Guards who had fallen back did not rise. They watched her like prey watches fire. "The elders," Viola said. "Every vampire elder. Every ancient house." Outside the bay, the council chamber erupted into chaos. Screens lit up across the station. Long-range signals burst through space, racing faster than ships ever could. Deep in forgotten worlds, ancient beings opened their eyes. The protector bond had been activated, a law older than empires. Inside the bay, Naira helped Elior sit against the wall. "You should be dead," she said softly. "A human cannot survive that loss of blood." Elior smiled faintly. "Guess I missed the memo." Viola looked at him, something unreadable in her eyes. "You gave freely," she said. "That matters." Heavy footsteps returned to the corridor. Not soldiers this time. Leaders. The door slid open slowly. The High Speaker entered, surrounded by council members and elite guards. Their faces were tight. Controlled. Afraid. His eyes locked onto Viola's glowing wrists. "You broke protocol," he said earlier. "You interfered with royal property." Viola took one step forward. "They are still calling us property," she said quietly. The High Speaker raised his chin. "You are bound creatures." Naira lifted her arm. The ancient symbols glowed brighter. "Then explain this," she said. The council members whispered among themselves. One of them stepped back. "That mark, it cannot be." The High Speaker's voice lowered. "It is impossible. That law was sealed." Viola smiled. "It was not kind." "Sealed," she said, "not erased." She turned to Elior. "Do you know what you did?" she asked. Elior shook his head. "I helped someone who was hurt." Naira looked at the council. "He offered blood without demand," she said. "Without command. Without fear." The High Speaker's eyes widened just a little. "That means," one council member whispered. Viola finished the thought. "It means we were not taken," she said. "We chose." The word hit the room like a weapon. Choice. Guards shifted uneasily. The High Speaker straightened. "Even if this bond exists, it does not place a human above the Empire." Viola's eyes burned. "No," she said, "but it places him beyond your reach." A new presence filled the room. Cold, Heavy, ancient, the air bent. A holographic circle formed above the floor, glowing dark red. From it appeared a tall, shadowed figure with eyes like burning embers. The vampire arbiter. Every alien in the room dropped to one knee, except Elior. Naira gasped. An arbiter? Here. Viola bowed her head slightly. So the law truly woke. The arbiter's voice echoed, slow and deep. Who activated the protector bond? Naira pointed to Elior. He did. The arbiter's gaze fell on the human. So small, the arbiter said. So fragile. Elior swallowed but stood up anyway. I didn't mean to break any laws, he said. I just didn't want her to die. Silence followed. Then the arbiter laughed softly. Many have ruled galaxies, it said. Few have spoken those words. The high speaker raised his voice. This human is dangerous. He disrupts order. The arbiter turned slowly. Order, it repeated. Or convenience. The high speaker went silent. The arbiter addressed the room. By ancient law, a vampire who chooses protector freely is no longer bound to Empire command. The council erupted. That would weaken us. They are weapons. Viola's voice cut through them. We were children. The arbiter raised one hand. Silence returned. The princesses Naira and Viola are hereby declared free agents. Naira's knees nearly gave out. Viola exhaled slowly, like a warrior finally setting down a blade. And the human, the high speaker demanded. The arbiter looked at Elior. Elior of Earth, it said, you are now under ancient protection. The high speaker's face drained a color. You cannot be harmed, imprisoned, or commanded by this empire. Elior blinked. I didn't ask for that. The arbiter nodded. That is why you deserve it. The hologram began to fade. Before disappearing, the arbiter spoke one last time. Remember this day. The day kindness triggered a law emperor's fear. The room went silent. The council stood powerless. Naira turned to Elior, tears in her eyes. You changed everything, she said. Elior looked around at the broken drones, the kneeling nobles, the two free princesses. I just wanted to do the right thing, he said quietly. Viola placed a hand over her heart. Sometimes, she said, that is enough to shake the galaxy. Far beyond the station, fleets began to move, because freedom had a cost, and the empire was not finished. The council chamber did not celebrate. It mourned. Screens around the room showed reports scrolling fast. Fleet movement, political protests, vampire houses withdrawing support. The empire was losing control, piece by piece, and at the center of it all stood one human. Elior. He felt small in the massive chamber. The floor was cold under his boots. Hundreds of alien eyes watched him, not with laughter now, but calculation. The high speaker slammed his staff against the floor. This council is in crisis because of you, he said. Elior looked up. His voice stayed calm. I didn't attack anyone, he said. I didn't steal anything. You broke balance, the high speaker snapped. Naira stepped forward. You broke us first. Murmurs spread. Viola stood at Elior's side, her presence sharp like drawn steel. God did not dare approach. The Empire demands order, the high speaker continued. And order demands sacrifice. Elior understood then. They wanted him gone. Send him away, one noble said. Erase him quietly, another whispered. Viola's eyes flashed red. Touch him, she said, and you will learn what true disorder looks like. The high speaker raised his hand. No violence, he said. We are civilized. Elior almost laughed. The high speaker turned to Elior again. You will speak, he commanded. Explain yourself. Elior took a slow breath. He did not shout. He did not beg. I am not a hero, Elior said. I am not a soldier. I clean your stations. I fix your doors. Some nobles looked away. You call humans weak, he continued. Maybe we are, but weakness does not mean cruelty. Silence spread. I was told they were gifts, Elior said, gesturing to Naira and Viola. But people are not gifts. Naira lowered her head. Viola clenched her fists. The high speaker sneered. You speak of morality in an empire. Elior met his gaze. Empires fall when they forget it, he said. The room went still. Outside the chamber, alarms blared again. A junior officer rushed in, shaking. High Speaker, he said. Several vampire fleets have withdrawn. They refuse Imperial command. The High Speaker's face tightened. Viola smiled slightly. They follow law, not fear. Another officer entered. Human districts are watching, she said. They are recording everything. That surprised the council. Humans never watched, never spoke. Elior felt it then. He was not alone anymore. The High Speaker pointed at him. This human is a symbol now, he said. Symbols are dangerous. Elior nodded. I know. You will be exiled, the High Speaker declared. Removed from all systems. Naira gasped. You can't. Viola stepped forward. Try. The High Speaker raised his voice. We will not harm him. We will isolate him. Elior turned to the princesses. It's okay, he said softly. Naira grabbed his arm. No. You didn't save us just to lose everything. Elior smiled sadly. I didn't save you to gain something, he said. I did it because it was right. He faced the council. I will leave, Elior said, but they stay free. The chamber erupted. The High Speaker hesitated. Finally, he nodded. So be it. Viola's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. If he leaves, she said, we leave with him. Naira nodded. By choice. The council froze. That is not acceptable, the High Speaker said. Viola smiled fully now. You no longer decide that. Screens across the room changed. Vampire ships appeared, dozens of them, forming defensive lines near the station. The High Speaker's voice cracked. You would side with a human. Viola answered simply. He stood alone for us. Now we stand with him. Naira took Elior's hand. You are not alone anymore, she said. Elior looked at the chamber one last time. I didn't want to change your empire, he said. I just wanted to protect 2 lives. The High Speaker said nothing, because the truth was clear. One human, standing alone, had become something the empire feared more than armies. A conscience. The stars outside the station shifted. Space bent. Every screen in the council chamber went dark at the same time. The air grew heavy, like the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Naira felt it and whispered, She is coming. Viola straightened. Even she looked serious now. Elior felt cold run through his bones. Who? The Queen, Viola said. The first ruler of our blood. A deep pulse rolled through the chamber. Not sound, not light, authority. Then she appeared. Not as a ship, not as a hologram. She walked out of the air itself. The vampire queen was tall, wrapped in dark robes that looked like living night. Her crown was simple, carved from bone and crystal. Her eyes were not red. They were ancient gold. Every being in the chamber dropped to one knee. Every being, except Elior. Not because he was brave, because he did not know he was supposed to. The queen's gaze moved slowly across the room. It stopped on Elior. Silence stretched. You are the human, she said. Elior swallowed. Yes. The High Speaker bowed low. Great Queen, this human is disrupted. Be silent, the Queen said. The High Speaker froze. She stepped closer to Elior. Each step felt like time slowing. You broke a law sealed by my hand, she said. I'm sorry, Elior said honestly. I didn't know. She studied him. You did not kneel, she said. I didn't mean disrespect, Elior replied. I just treat rulers like people. A few nobles gasped. The Queen smiled faintly. Interesting. She turned to Naira and Viola. You were given away, she said. How did that make you feel? Naira's voice trembled. Like we were already dead. Viola's was steady. Like we never mattered. The Queen closed her eyes for a moment. Then she turned back to Elior. You were offered power, she said. Did you want it? No, Elior answered. I wanted them safe. You could have ruled them, she said. I didn't want to rule anyone. You could have asked for wealth. I don't need it. You could have demanded protection. Elior hesitated. "I would rather protect than be protected," he said. The queen looked at him for a long time. Then she raised her hand. A thin blade of dark light formed. Naira gasped. Viola moved instantly, stepping in front of Elior. "Do not test her," the queen said calmly. "This is not punishment." She sliced the air. A drop of Elior's blood floated free. Then a drop of Viola's. Then Naira's. The 3 drops hovered together, glowing. "This is a final test," the queen said. "Balance." The drops touched. Light exploded. Naira cried out as ancient memories flooded her. Viola gritted her teeth. Elior fell to one knee, overwhelmed. Then it stopped. The queen lowered her hand. "It is done," she said. The council waited in fear. "The bond is pure," the queen declared. "No control, no hunger, no corruption." She faced the high speaker. "You use my bloodline as tools," she said. "You will answer for that." The high speaker collapsed to his knees. She turned to the chamber. "Naira and Viola are no longer princesses of exile," the queen said. "They are free by royal decree." Naira's eyes filled with tears. Viola bowed deeply. "And the human?" someone dared to ask. The queen looked at Elior. "You are not our ruler," she said. "You are not our servant." Elior waited. "You are something rarer," she continued. "A human who chose mercy when power was offered." She stepped back. "By my word, no vampire may ever claim dominion over you." The queen's gaze softened. "And by my word, you will always have a place among us." The chamber was silent. Then the queen began to fade. Before leaving, she spoke one last time. "Remember this, all of you." She was not saved by fear. They were not freed by war. This empire was changed by kindness. The air stilled. Naira held Elior's arm. Viola looked at him with respect and something deeper. Elior exhaled slowly. "I think," he said, "that went better than expected." For the first time in centuries, the vampire queen laughed. The station felt different after Queen left. Not louder, quieter, like something heavy had been lifted from the air. Elior stood near the wide viewport, watching the stars drift slowly. For the first time since his childhood, he did not feel like he was standing in someone else's world. Naira and Viola stood beside him. Free. No chains. No seals. No commands. Only choice. "The council will not touch you now," Naira said softly. Elior nodded. "I never wanted protection. I wanted peace." Viola crossed her arms, watching the stars. "Peace is rare," she said. "But you earned it." Behind them, screens across the station showed quiet changes. Human districts were reopening. Alien guards were stepping back. Vampire fleets withdrew, not in anger, but respect. Word spread fast across the galaxy. Not about a war. Not about conquest. About a human who refused power. In the council chamber, the High Speaker's throne stood empty. His rule had ended without a battle. Empires noticed. So did the people who had been silent for too long. Elior felt uncomfortable being the center of it all. "I don't want statues," he said. "Or titles." Naira smiled. "That is why they will tell your story." Viola turned to him. "Where will you go now, human?" Elior thought about his small metal room, his quiet shifts, his lonely nights. "I don't know," he said honestly. "I've never planned past survival." Naira and Viola exchanged a glance. Then Naira stepped forward. "We are leaving the station," she said. "Together?" Viola nodded. "The galaxy is wide, and we choose where we belong." Elior looked at them. "You don't have to stay with me." Naira placed a gentle hand over his heart. "We know," she said. "That is why we will." Viola smirked. "Besides, someone needs to make sure you do not get yourself killed." Elior laughed quietly. A small transport ship waited in the docking bay. Not a royal vessel. Not a warship. Just a simple craft. Before they boarded, a small package arrived, unsigned. Inside was a small cake. Simple. Plain. One candle. Naira stared at it in confusion. "What is this?" Elior swallowed. "A birthday cake." Viola blinked. "You celebrate survival with food." Yes, Elior said. Sometimes. They lit the candle. The flame flickered gently in the dark bay. Naira closed her eyes. Viola hesitated, then smiled. Elior made no wish. He had already been given one. As the ship lifted off, stars stretched into light. Across the galaxy, laws were rewritten. Not by force, but by memory. Humans were no longer just workers. Vampires were no longer just weapons. Empires were no longer unquestioned. Because one human treated two prisoners like people. Naira leaned her head on Elior's shoulder. For the first time, she said, I feel safe. Viola looked out at the stars. For the first time, she said, I feel free. Elior closed his eyes. For the first time, he felt like he belonged. Far behind them, Virek Station faded into light. Ahead waited a future with no chains. Not a gift. Not a curse. A family. Final line. That was the day the galaxy learned. Humanity's greatest power was never strength. It was kindness. End of story.